Good evening, I'm Laura Lee. Thanks for joining us. Dan has the night off. St. Louis County has big plans for 2024. During its final meeting of the year, nearly $500 million budget was approved by the board, supporting key investments across county departments. The Board of Commissioners unanimously approved $491.5 million. Now, the budget includes investments in staffing, economic development programs to support job growth and housing. This budget also makes critical investments in youth programming and county buildings. Well, this year, the depot is getting nearly $850,000. Northern News Now's Madison Green tells us how an investment in this Duluth building is really an invitation to all of St. Louis County.
On the corner of 5th and Michigan.
The original architects of the building, Peabody and Stearns, designed the building to blow people away. They wanted to really impress people. Like, here is Duluth. Welcome to the Northland.
The depot is getting nearly $850,000 from the St. Louis County budget for 2024, which will be used for building maintenance costs. Something Executive Director Mary Tennis says is critical.
We represent history in the area. We represent the performing arts in the area. We have so many different community programs that are happening in our Great Hall and in other common areas of the building.
St. Louis County representatives agree. They believe in maintaining the historic space. A railway which connected St. Louis County to the rest of the country when its doors opened back in 1892.
About seeing lights and being inviting. It's about going into a safe and well-maintained building. It's about having options to do theater, to do performances, to see history, to meet and mix and mingle with others.
Construction of the Northern Lights Express opens the door for more people to see all the depot has to offer.
NLX is slated to arrive here at the depot. We still are one of those first landmarks that people see when they come into town. And once they come to the depot, they stay at the depot because there's something new around every corner.
Investing in the landmark so it continues to invite even more generations of visitors. In Duluth, Madison Green, Northern News Now.
Madison, thank you. Now, the St. Louis County is also asking the state for $11 million in bonding funds to replace the entire HVAC system in the depot. That project will cost $16 million in total.